is J.D. Vance in Munich, the 61st Munich Security Conference. This is him breaking with normal diplomatic convention, tearing a strip off the mainstream European leaders, saying that they were more of a threat to Europe's security than Russia and China, telling them that Ukraine wouldn't have a seat at the table in the negotiations, telling them that Europe wouldn't have a seat in the negotiations, that this is going to be a deal struck between Russia and the United States. Obviously, that's caused huge amount of consternation. You know, the BBC is on full propaganda mode. Why, you know, are they genuinely surprised? Surely not. Anyone who listened to Trump during his election campaign would just say he's fulfilling a campaign promise. We've all read, surely, Kellogg's report. He's now the representative of the United States in Ukraine. We know what he was proposing. That's a freeze of the front line with, how should I put it, volunteers providing some sort of peacekeeper force. We know what Russia thinks of that, because we've got Keir Starmer acting as the poodle, coming forward offering British troops. We're expecting troops from Poland, the Netherlands, the Nordic countries, who knows where else. But we're also being told by Trump that he wants his 500 billion from Ukraine, basically in reparations. This is a higher percentage of, in terms of tribute than was imposed on Germany by the Versailles Treaty. On top of that, we've got Trump going on about not 2%, not 2.5%, not 3% of the GDP on, I'll call it arms spending, but 5%. And if you combine that with tariffs, I think this tells you something about the sort of future the United States intends for Europe. Okay, I don't want to push it too far, but nonetheless, I would turn back to Trotsky's writings, who was wrong, but nonetheless, I would turn back to Trotsky's post-World War I writings, such as in 1923, when he's raising the United Europe slogan. He actually gets that through the Communist International, and he says, look, without proletarian power, without the proletariat taking a lead in Europe, the United States is condemning Europe to balkanization and absolute economic decay. Well, look at 29. What we need to explain is what happened after World War II. I'm not going to do that now. Either way, just looking at Germany, stagnation, contraction, Britain barely growing, the rest of the Eurozone barely growing, if not contracting, I would expect things to get worse. Where things will be going politically, initially at least, to the right. That would be my expectation. I don't want to steal anyone's thunder for the later in the meeting, but quite frankly, if AFD didn't do well, I will publicly eat, and I'm talking about the 20% sort of margin.
I thought you liked having your dumb phone.
Shush. Let me talk, please. Thank you. If the AFD doesn't do well, I'll eat my hat, so to speak. Either way, what we had with J.D. Vance was a symbolic meeting after the Munich conference between him and the leader of the AFD, not the Chancellor and not the expected chancellor. So I think that tells us something about where the United States wants to see Europe in the immediate future. Not unexpectedly, we had a demonstration in London yesterday organized by the Ukrainian Solidarity Campaign. I don't know how many people were there. I've only seen press, pictures, press reports. Either way, we had it sponsored by the TUC, ASLEF, GMB, Unison, the NUM, which doesn't really count as a union anymore. We had speeches from all manner of different people, and I just noted two things. One, a banner hold aloft on the demonstration saying, "Arm Ukraine with nukes." We also had Christopher Ford, the secretary of the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign, calling for the British government to supply Ukraine not just with enough weapons to defend itself, which is what he accuses the United States and Europe doing so far, but enough weapons in order to win. And my argument here would be, for that to happen, just arming Ukraine with surplus weapons, which is the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign demand, isn't enough. You need modern weapons, not old weapons. And that, therefore, precisely feeds in to Trump's demand for 2, 3, 4, 5% of GDP being spent on the arms industry. How do you develop new weapons? How do you maintain existing high-tech weapons? You need an awful lot of money. So you get the choice, and the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign ought to have the honesty to say that it's choosing guns over butter. So next time you hear John McDonnell going on about the two-child cap, you have to accuse him of, wanting his cake and eating it. He's saying you can have both guns and butter. You can't, not in a country like Britain, that's for sure. Just a footnote on that. We've been calling for comrades in RS21, Revolutionary Socialism in the 21st Century, to tell us how their organization affiliated to this social imperialist outfit. Was there an opposition to affiliation? When the successful, well done, comrades, motion was put forward to disaffiliate and to characterize this war as a proxy war, was there an opposition, and is there still an opposition? We think that supplying answers on these questions isn't an example of bad culture on the left. We think keeping quiet about such questions is an example of bad culture on the left. So I'll renew my call for comrades to tell us who's who in RS21, and that applies to the rest of the left. But obviously with RS21, it particularly applies because, thank God, they've shifted from being an affiliate of the Ukraine Solidarity Campaign to coming out with something approaching a principled position. Okay, just again, another note, obviously humorous, but nonetheless, there's this story about Trump emailing or putting something up on social media, signing it "the King." And we've had various people comment about this, not least Madonna, not someone I normally follow, but she apparently said that she thought that America was originally established and built by those opposing kings. Not quite true, Madonna. There was a proposal to actually crown George Washington Instead of that, though, what you had is an elected monarch. That's actually what the US president is. And a load of other people have also been trolling her on the basis, well, it wasn't just Europeans that built America, was it? You're going to forget the slave trade. Anyway, I forgive her myself. Why? Because actually what you've got with Trump is precisely a move to extend the powers of the president and to make the presidency unaccountable in the way that it has been in the past, to Congress, to the Supreme Court, and maybe even to the electorate. Who knows? Either way, this is Trump going beyond the norm in terms of American, how should I put it, tradition, history, what we've seen before. Final note,